She ran away because she's an albino. In the market, men had started saying an albino's arm could bring luck, a finger could bring wealth. Some even joked about it like it was nothing. Lara knew it was not a joke. Last month, a boy with skin like hers had gone missing. His family found only his clothes near the forest. At 20 years old, Lara was different from most people in her small village. There were only few people like. Her skin was pale pink instead of dark brown. Her hair was almost white instead of black. The sun burned her easily, so she covered herself with long clothes and stayed in the shade. She was often bullied. 3 months ago, a man from the neighboring village had come to their village. He told people that albino body parts could make them wealthy and powerful. He said rich people in the capital would pay good money for these things. Some villagers laughed at him, but others listened carefully. After he left, Lara noticed the changes. People looked at her differently. They murmured when she walked by. The shopkeeper watched Lara's every move when she bought vegetables. Last week, her friend Treasure had pulled her aside behind the school. She told Lara that some men in the village were asking questions about her daily routine. They wanted to know when she went to the river, when she walked in the fields, and when she walked home alone. That night, Lara's mother sat her down. She pulled out a small bag she had hidden under her sleeping mat. Inside were some bills, a few coins, and a letter with an address in the city. Her mother explained the plan. Lara would leave at dawn and catch the bus to Manza. A distant cousin lived there who would help her find work and a safe place to stay. She must never come back to the village. Lara could not sleep that night. She listened to every sound outside their hut. Before sunrise, she packed her few belongings in a cloth bundle. Her mother walked with her to the bus stop. As the old bus pulled up with black smoke coming from its back, Lara looked at her home one last time. She saw the hills where she used to play as a child and the place where her father was buried. She would never see these places again. The bus driver took her money and pointed to an empty seat near the back. As they drove away, Lara watched her mother getting smaller and smaller until she disappeared completely. She was alone now, but she was alive. That was enough for her. After fleeing her village, Lara arrives at her cousin Miriam's home in the city of Manza. Miriam is kind and offers her a place to stay, but there is a tension beneath her warmth. She warns Lara to stay indoors. The gruesome rumors about albino body parts, once rumored in the rural areas, have now reached the city. Lara had hoped for safety in the crowd, but even here, danger follows. One evening, Lara slips out to buy something at a roadside store. On her way back, she realizes she's being followed by 2 men. Their eyes track her too closely. She changes direction. They do too. In a burst of panic, she manages to lose them in a busy market, but returns home breathless and shaken. The next morning, someone throws a rock through Miriam's window. Later, her teenage son is cornered outside school by unknown men asking if they have a light-skinned relative staying with them. Miriam's husband receives an anonymous warning at work, but Claire, if you're hiding her, you're next. Fear sets in. Miriam begs Lara to leave. It was obvious keeping Lara there puts her entire family in jeopardy. Meanwhile, the same man who spread the deadly superstitions in the villages has arrived in Manza. He's not alone. He's paying local thugs, desperate young men, petty criminals, even neighbors to report or capture albinos. The city may be vast, but Lara's pale skin marks her like a beacon. While fleeing another close call, Lara turned into a narrow alley, only to find it was a dead end. The sound of footsteps chasing her grew louder. Just as fear took over, a young man stepped out from the shadows. He had a camera hanging around his neck and quickly grabbed her hand. Without saying a word, he led her through a hidden gap between 2 buildings. Together, they slipped away into the twisting back streets, while the shouts of their pursuers echoed behind them. The man turns out to be a young journalist investigating the killings of albinos. For the first time, Lara feels truly seen, not as prey, but as a person with worth. With her new ally, Lara discovers there are others fighting back against the superstition and violence. She begins to imagine a life beyond hiding, one where she can help protect others like herself. After the journalist David drove the men away that night, Lara understood the hunt was not over. They had tested her defenses and would return stronger. But this time she was not running. David walked quickly. His photographs of the attempted abduction and the faces of the men were taken straight to his editor. Within 2 days, the paper published the story across its front page. Young woman targeted in Manza. Albino lives still hunted for profit. The effect was immediate. People in town argued loudly in the streets. Some still clung to old beliefs, but others grew uneasy now that the superstition had faces and names attached. The authorities, embarrassed by the publicity, had no choice but to act. Police raided a house at the edge of town where the hunters had been gathering. Inside, they found charms, knives, and a list of names, Lara's among them. The men who had followed her were arrested along with their leader, the same traveler who had first spread the lies in her village. For once, it was not Lara who vanished into the dark, it was them. News of the arrests reached her quickly. Miriam hugged her hard, relieved at last. David set his notebook down in front of her and told her the work would continue. There were still others missing, other names to record. For the first time since she left home, Lara felt the grip on her chest loosen. She could walk the streets without watching every corner. She could breathe without thinking it might be her last night alive. She chose not to return to her village. That life was gone. Instead, she stayed in Manza, helping David gather stories, determined to make sure no one else would disappear without being named. Her skin was still pale under the sun, her life still different from most around her, but the fear that had once chased her was no longer in control. She was no longer a girl running. She was a survivor standing still, and the world had been forced to see her.